There's a universal truth in business that I think everyone loves to ignore until it's way too late.
Oh, yeah.
It's that difference between the excitement and the reality. Making a sale, that's the win. It's the
A
adrenaline.
high five moment.
Exactly. But getting paid, that's the actual work.
That's the grind.
Yeah.
Revenue isn't really revenue until it's in the bank. Until then, it's just, well, it's just a rumor.
A rumor that can turn into a nightmare, which is where we're going today. We are diving into a really specific world, the alcohol beverage sector in Uganda.
And I know that sounds super niche.
It does. But trust me, the mechanics we're about to unpack are universal and absolutely wild. We're looking at what is essentially a handbook for salesmen on the front lines.
Yeah, it's a fascinating piece of writing. It's actually titled Horrors of Debt Collection in the Uganda Alcohol Beverage Industry.
Hmm.
And that title is not an exaggeration.
Not at all. And our guide here is the author, Edward Boger. This guy isn't an academic. He has over 10 years in the trenches working with giants like Diageo and Distell.
He has serious credibility. His philosophy is every number tells a story. And the story here is often about unpaid invoices.
Right. And he makes it really clear this isn't an official company position or anything.
No, it's education. It's analysis based on his data, his experience. It's a look under the hood.
So our mission today is to unpack this survival guide. We're not just talking about selling whiskey. We're talking about surviving a market filled with what he calls red flag clients and these structural traps.
And really, this is for anyone who wants to understand how business actually works on the ground. The principles of leverage and debt, they're the same everywhere.
Okay, let's jump in. Segment 1, I'm calling this the setup. Because reading it, it feels like the salesman is just set up to fail from the very beginning.
It often is. Bourdieu points out this huge structural flaw. See, in a big Western company, you've got your sales team.
The good guys.
The good guys, exactly. Their job is to build relationships, move product. Then you have a totally separate department, credit control.
The bad guys.
The bad guys who chase the money. It lets the salesman stay friendly. But in this market in Uganda, that separation it doesn't exist.
So the salesman is, what, both?
He calls them a one-man army.
Wow.
It's overwhelming. You have to hit your sales targets, right?
Wow.
You also have to do the advertising, merchandise the shelves yourself.
And you literally arranging the bottles.
Literally arranging the bottles. And on top of all that, you are personally responsible for collecting the debt.
Just listing it out sounds exhausting. But this is where it gets really scary. The risk involved.
This is the horror element. The salesman is the face of the brand, but they're often on a tiny base wage. It's all about commission.
Okay.
So if a client defaults, if they don't pay an invoice, that money is often cut directly from the salesman's pay.
Wait, what? So if I sell $1,000 worth of spirits to a bar, and that bar owner just disappears?
That $1,000 could come straight out of your paycheck.
That is insane. It's a massive conflict of interest.
It is. You're desperate to make a sale to earn your commission. But if you sell to the wrong person, you're personally on the hook for it. The company has basically just offloaded all its financial risk onto its lowest paid employee.
You're gambling with your own rent money every single day. So how do you even survive that?
Well, that brings us to the next part. The handbook is a survival guide, so it offers a shield.
Okay, the shield. I like that. What is it?
It starts with something we've all heard of, but maybe don't take seriously enough. KYC. Know your customer.
Right, KYC. That just sounds like boring bank paperwork. You tick a box, photocopy an ID.
Here, he treats it like a literal survival checklist. If you don't do this, you will lose money, period.
So what does that mean in practice?
It's not enough to get the manager's name. You need the owner's ID, the actual managing director. You need their trading license, their physical location.
The location seems
Crucial, because businesses can disappear overnight. If they stop answering their phone, you can't just send an email. You need to know where to physically show up. But the real weapon he talks about is something called a security check.
a security check. That sounds so old school, but he makes it sound powerful. How does that work?
It's pure leverage. Before you give a client any goods on credit, you get a check from them for the full amount. Sometimes it's post-dated, sometimes you just hold it.
But I mean, who even uses checks anymore?
It's not about cashing it, it's about the threat. In Uganda, issuing a bounced check is a criminal offense.
Oh. So it's not just a civil thing where you have to sue them.
No, they could be arrested.
Right.
So when you hold that check, you're not just saying, you owe me money. You're saying, I hold your financial reputation and maybe even your freedom in my hand.
That completely changes the conversation from please pay me to don't make me deposit this.
Exactly. It forces them to pay you first.
There's also a really modern tip in here that I think applies to everybody. The screenshot strategy.
Yes. He's emphatic about this. Take that screenshot.
Because so much business now happens on WhatsApp, right?
All of it. Orders, promises to pay, excuses.
Yeah.
It's all in the chat history.
So why the screenshot? Can't you just keep the chat?
People can delete messages. They can unsend them. A screenshot is undeniable. But it's not just for the client. It's to protect you from your own boss.
Ah, because of the wage deduction thing?
Precisely. The rule is you get your supervisor to approve any credit sale before you deliver the goods. Get that approval on WhatsApp
And screenshot it.
and screenshot it.
Right.
So when the client defaults, your boss can't turn around and say you were reckless and take it from your pay. You can say you approved this. You've got the receipt.
It's defensive documentation. You're fighting a war on two fronts, against the bad client and against a bad internal policy.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Okay, speaking of bad clients, this is the part I really loved. Segment 3, the Rogues Gallery. The handbook details these specific customer archetypes to avoid, and they feel so real.
Oh, they are. It's like a field guide to predators in the business world.
Let's start with the first one, the manipulator.
This one is all about psychological warfare. Bogier notes that this profile is often, in his experience, a middle-aged woman in the business community.
And their tactic is what? To play the victim.
Exactly. This is the person who says, I've given you so much business over the years, and now you're harassing me over this tiny little balance.
They flip it on you. So instead of, I owe you money, it's, you're being rude.
Yes.
Mm.
They try to make you feel guilty for just doing your job.
Yeah.
The red flag is the disrespect for the debt, no matter how small. They're just buying time with guilt.
Okay, then you have the always in a rush.
The classic, I'm busy, I'll send it before the end of the day, I'm just stepping into a meeting.
We've all heard that one.
Bogier says he personally waited a full year for a payment from a client like this.
A whole year of end of day.
And many of them just never pay. They become bad debt. His advice is simple. Cut them off. Immediately.
Next up, the mobile stockist. This one just sounds risky from the name.
It's a logistical nightmare.
Right?
These are guys who don't have a shop. They sell product out of the back of a van.
So they're hard to track down.
They're mobile, yes, but the real risk is that they have no capital. Their business model is fragile. If they don't sell the stock from their van that day, they have no cash. They'll just try to return the goods to you.
And as the salesman, you've wasted a day for zero commission.
And you've paid for your own gas. You've actually lost money.
Speaking of returned goods, this was my favorite horror story. The events guy.
Ah, yes. The warm beer problem.
It sounds so specific and gross.
It is. So an event organizer gets a huge amount of stock from you on credit for a big concert. They promise to pay for what they sell and return the rest.
Which sounds reasonable. Consignment, right?
In theory. But in reality, they take your perfectly chilled beer, it sits out in the sun all day, people spill stuff on it, the bottles sit in melted ice.
Then the labels just peel right off.
The labels soak off. The beer gets warm, then cold, then warm again. It ruins the taste. So on Monday morning, this guy tries to return 20 crates of warm, label-less, skunky beer.
And the company warehouse is not taking that back.
No way. The warehouse rejects it. The events guy says, well, I returned it, so he won't pay. And the salesman is stuck with the bill for all that damaged stock.
Wow. Okay, there's one more big villain here, and it sounds like the most sophisticated scam. The name changer.
This one is truly predatory. It exploits corporate law. So you have a business, say, Rhodes Impex. They build up a big line of credit with you, take all your stock. Then, at the end of the year, they declare bankruptcy. They dissolve the company.
And the debt just vanishes.
The debt dies with the company. But the very next day, the same owner, in the same location, opens a new business called R&R Wines and Liquor.
It starts all over again.
Leaving the distributors completely bankrupt.
Oh.
It's a loophole. And they rely on you being desperate enough for the sale to give the new company a chance.
That's devastating. So you have to fight back. You can't just know the types. You need a plan.
Exactly. You need a counterattack. You have to professionalize the fight.
Okay, so segment 4, the counterattack. How do you do it?
It starts with the very first transaction. The handbook is crystal clear. Never, ever accept a check for a first purchase.
Cash on delivery.
Cash, mobile money, bank transfer, something real. You need to build a payment history first. A check from a stranger is just a piece of paper.
Okay, and once they've earned some trust and get credit, what happens if they pay late?
You need a penalty policy that has teeth. It can't be vague. He suggests specific fees for bounce checks, for sure. But the real key is a penalty structure for late payments.
And he gives a specific example of this, right?
Yes, and it's aggressive.
Yeah.
As it should be. The policy is. Credit is for 1 week, 7 days,
Yeah.
not 30.
1 week. Okay.
If you're late after that 1 week, there's an immediate 2% charge.
That's a little sting, a warning shot.
Right. But if you go past 2 weeks, it jumps. An additional 10% penalty.
Whoa.
And after that, it's legal action.
That 10% is the real kicker. That would eat up a shop's entire profit margin on the product.
That's the point. It forces them to pay you first. Think about it. A shop owner owes 5 suppliers. 4 of them are just calling and pleading. One of them is about to charge 10% interest. Who gets paid?
The expensive one, every time.
Every time. You have to be the creditor they can't afford to ignore.
But you can't just spring this on them. They just laugh.
No, and that's the final piece of armor. The revision of credit terms letter. It sounds stuffy, but it's vital. You send a formal letter to every client outlining these new rules.
And they have to sign it.
They have to sign it. That signature is your proof. So when the manipulator tries to guilt trip you, you pull out the document they signed. It takes all the emotion out of it.
It's not I'm being mean. It's this is the policy you agreed to.
And that is the absolute core lesson of this entire handbook. In this sector, your sales ability is secondary to your street smarts and your documentation.
Yeah. You can be the most charming person in the world.
But if you don't get the KYC, get the signature, and take the screenshot, you are going to fail.
It totally redefines what a good salesman is. It's
Right.
not about moving product. It's about securing the cash.
Absolutely. And that goes back to Beauger's point about sustainability. If you let clients use you as a free bank, which is what consignment is, really, you're not building a business. You're just subsidizing theirs.
So as we wrap this up, what's the big takeaway for someone who isn't selling whiskey in Kampala, maybe a freelancer in New York?
The takeaway is that trust is a variable. It's not a constant. Whether you're dealing with a massive company or a guy with a van, you have to protect your downside.
Getting it in writing.
Getting it in writing or, getting it a screenshot. The principles are universal. These manipulators and name changers, they exist in every industry.
That screenshot strategy is something I think everyone should just start doing today. It's the new paper trail.
It's the only memory that doesn't fade.
So before we go, here's something to think about. We talked a lot about policies, penalties, security checks, but ask yourself this. In your own business, how much of your relationships are based on, that fuzzy idea of trust?
And how much should be based on something concrete, like a security check?
Mm-hmm.
Where is that line between being a partner and just being a bank for your client?
Because if you don't define that line,
They will always cross it.
on that note, check your invoices, take your screenshots, and we will see you in the next deep dive.